Okay, today we're making our Black Forest Cheesecake. For the base of the Black Forest Cheesecake, you're going to need some crushed chocolate biscuits. Now you can either buy these commercially or you can make your own. We're going to mix that with a little bit of butter and a little bit of icing sugar just to firm up the base. For the middle section of the cheesecake, we're going to need some cream cheese, one small container, that's about 300 ml of thickened cream, about a tablespoon of gelatine, 1 tin of pitted black cherries, some caster sugar and some corn flour. So the first thing to do, of course, is the base, and the best way I know how to do that is to put the chocolate biscuits into a good thick Ziploc bag and just run over them with the rolling pin until they are fine and crushed. Just get into it, take out all your frustrations and all your angriness, and they should be pulverised by the time you're done. Think about that child that stacked the dishwasher with food on it, or the tax bill that you've got to pay. That horrible scoundrel that you married. Oh, look at that. I must have a lot of grief, I suppose. So get about 4 ounces of butter and melt it in a saucepan. As soon as we've melted that in a saucepan, we add it to the biscuit base with a teaspoon of icing sugar and blend it all together before we press it into the bottom of a spring-form pan. So we've got our crushed biscuits. What we've done then is we've taken 4 ounces of butter and melted it on the stove top. So just add that to the biscuits. And then add roughly a tablespoon of pure icing sugar. So you've got your biscuit base all mixed together with 4 ounces of butter and about a tablespoon of icing sugar. Get your springform pan. Now, depending on the size of your springform pan, you might not want all of these crumbs, so just decide for yourself. I think that's enough for mine because I don't want it too thick. And what you do is just use the back of the spoon to press it down into place and try to make that bottom base as even and level as possible. Once you've got that as level as you possibly can, put it into the fridge to firm up a little bit while you're working on the middle part of the cheesecake. For the next part of the recipe, the first thing you do is you get a half a cup of warm water and a tablespoon of gelatine, which is equivalent to a 7-gram sachet that comes inside the gelatine packs. So just 1 sachet, and sprinkle it over the water, and that will just absorb while we get on and do the rest of that recipe. To continue on with the recipe, get your cream cheese and empty that into the bowl. Now you need 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar, and you need a tablespoon of lemon juice. I've cheated this time and I've just bought the commercial lemon juice. So that's roughly a tablespoon. I'll put a little bit extra in there just for good measure. Now, just cream that together. Okay, the next thing you do is add the gelatine mixture. In a separate bowl, add your thickened cream, and using a handheld mixer, just whip that up until it's nice and fluffy and thick. So take our whipped cream and just add that to the cream cheese mixture. And just stir it through very gently. You don't want it completely blended. So that's your filling for your cheesecake. So now you've gone and got the base out of the fridge, and that's nice and firm in there now. That's perfect. You've got the cream cheese filling and you've got your cherries. Now we need to drain those cherries and just reserve the juice, because that juice is going to be thickened up later and used as a topping on the cheesecake. Now what we're going to do, about 1/3 of the mixture in on the cheesecake. Just spread that around so that it's even. And just start putting some cherries here and there and push them down a little bit so that when you cut into this beautiful masterpiece, you'll hopefully cut right through the middle of a cherry and it will just look divine. Next, add about another 1/3 of the mixture over that layer of cherries. Next, just add a few more cherries. That's what a Black Forest cheesecake is all about, isn't it? You can never have too many cherries anyway. Then with the last 1/3 of the cheesecake mixture, just cover those cherries and make sure it's nice and level because this is the final layer. Alright, so that's looking pretty good so far. There is another layer to come, but before we can put that layer on, of course, we need to let this set. It'll probably take around about half an hour, 45 minutes. So put it in the fridge, don't be tempted to disturb it, just leave it alone. So for the final layer of the cheesecake, just get the cherry mixture and over the back of a spoon, spread it gently like that over the top of the cheesecake. This prevents it from penetrating the actual cheesecake itself. Once the top of the cheesecake is covered, it goes back in the fridge for about an hour. Then it's ready to serve.